Okoth Obado, chief suspect in the murder of former Rongo University student Sharon Otieno, walked to freedom today, 24th of October 2018. He is out on bail pending the hearing of his case, and the pre-trial date has been set for 14th February next year, 2019. Even before the ruling, Obado's legal team, led by renowned criminal lawyer Kshs Ombeta, were very confident the governor was going to be set free on bail. To further underline this confidence, a group of Okoth Obado supporters traveled overnight all the way from Migori County to Nairobi, and immediately the ruling was announced that set Okoth Obado free on a bail of 5 million Kenya shillings. His supporters broke into song and dance. This is in very bad taste, because this is not a political trial. This is a murder case, a very gruesome, brutal murder. Still, inside the courtroom, the figures of the parents of Sharon Otieno, the very tall dad, and the mother, almost always in tears, were crestfallen. The mother of Sharon Otieno had in fact documented a protest in court against Okoth Obado being released on bail. But alas, her efforts were not enough to stop the Migori governor from walking to freedom. Interestingly, Okoth Obado's co-accused, his personal assistant Michael Oyamo, and a clerk in the Migori County Assembly and a close aide of the governor, Caspar Lobiero, were not released. Their bail was denied. Lady Justice Jessie Lesit said that their release would cause fear and anxiety amongst the public. There were also security concerns. I guess she meant the two could easily be mobbed and lynched, as opposed to a governor who would have a security detail. In releasing Obado on bail, the judge, Justice Jessie Lesit, set very, very stern and strict conditions for the bail to be retained. Number one, the governor is supposed to surrender all his travel documents, and that includes his diplomatic passport, his ordinary passport, and any other travel documents he may have. Number two, he should not interfere with witnesses. Number three, he should not mention the case in political rallies or even in meetings. Number four, going forward, he should not cause any adjournment of a hearing. He can easily say he's very busy with county matters. He's busy in a meeting, he cannot make it, etc., etc. Judge Jessie Lesit, Lady Justice, made it very clear this will not be condoned. It will not be allowed. Number five, the governor should not go anywhere within 20 kilometers of the border between Migori and Homa Bay. Any slight breach in these conditions could cause the court to quickly revoke the bail and get him behind bars. Now, the release of Okoth Obado on bail terms has shocked Kenyans. It has really upset very many Kenyans. The view of a vast majority of Kenyans is that he should have remained behind bars until the whole murder trial is completed. Now, the governor has been behind bars since September 21st. That's last month. That is over a month. A month and 2 days. The governor has lost a lot of weight. That's rather obvious. His normally weak smile is even weaker. His lawyer, Kshs Ombeta, hugged him when the Lady Justice Lesit announced that his bail had been granted. Now, even if some Kenyans are very disappointed in the release of Obado, and yet others are cheering his small band of supporters, the reality for Obado is very harsh on the ground. Now, I don't know if you're aware, there's some people who are namesakes of Okoth Obado. Yes, we have a handful of people in the country who are named Okoth Obado. Now, these people with a similar name have been having a very hard time. And I've been wondering if these namesakes are having such great difficulties as a result of this trial. What about the real Okoth Obado? How is he going to govern Migori County effectively? Granted, any political meetings he may choose to have will attract huge crowds, that's for sure. But the crowd will be attracted for the wrong reasons. And some of these crowds may be hostile because we have mothers, we have sisters, people who Sharon would have been their daughter, people who Sharon would have been their sister. And although Bwana Obado has not been found guilty by any court of law, at least not yet, still the fact that he's even associated to such a gruesome, gory crime will make it very difficult for this previously very cocky governor to operate. Now, about 2 days ago, the ODM party gave the MCAs in Migori, the members of the county assembly, 2 weeks in which to impeach Governor Obado, failure of which the ODM party will take steps, legal steps on its own. And so, it is clear that although Governor Obado has won the court battle for bail application, there are many other battles awaiting him, even as he walks into freedom. On top of the list is this particular political battle, the political battle to retain his governorship. Now, legally speaking, although Bwana Obado has not yet been found guilty of any crime, however, it is true that he has admitted and confessed to having an extramarital affair with a young girl, a university student. And he even got her pregnant. This is enough in many other advanced democracies to cause the immediate resignation of an office holder. But in Africa, it's a little more complicated than that. And this is not the only battle Obado will be faced with. We have the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, who have closed in on Bwana Obado and some of the transactions that have been noticed in his county, and in his personal accounts. Indeed, already several of his accounts have been frozen, but I believe not all his accounts have been frozen. And so, apart from the murder trial, the governor also has other legal battles, which he has to fight. Indeed, it is quite possible that the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission could arrest him, or rather, rearrest him, this time on corruption charges. And so, it is true to say Governor Obado is not yet out of the woods, far from it. Indeed, he is still in the middle of the battle of his life. And even if somehow he miraculously survives all those other battles, he still has a huge problem politically. You see, Mr. Obado's style has been very confrontational, his style of politics. And as a result, violence in his meetings and rallies and politics has almost been normal. However, at the moment, he cannot afford those kind of politics. Why? Because of his bail terms. If he does not want to go back to remand prison, he must be a good boy at all costs. However, being a good boy is not Okoth Obado's style. There is one area in particular that is going to make Bwana Obado very uncomfortable. He has insisted that his political enemies are out to get him. And obviously, these are the kind of statements and utterances he would have liked to continue with, now that he's a free man, at least temporarily so. However, according to the terms of his bail, he can't. He cannot under any circumstances discuss the Sharon Otieno issue. But it must be emphasized that the people who have suffered the most by far are the Migori County residents. Indeed, it has been like the whole of Migori County is on trial for the murder of Sharon Otieno. That in itself is one very compelling reason why the people of Migori should consider sending Okoth Obado home and getting a governor to continue running their county. Yeah. And constitutionally, it's supposed to be the deputy governor. So far, it has been very difficult for the deputy governor to step in the shoes of Governor Obado. The governor was behind bars, but there was no handover as such. Yeah. And those close to Obado did not want to even think of the possibility that the governorship would be handed over to the deputy, even if it was temporarily. And then to make matters worse, the Migori deputy governor is from the minority Kuria community. And therefore, it's understandable why he has to tread very, very carefully when it comes to any talk of a takeover, of him taking over the governorship of the county. However, in my view, whether Okoth Obado supporters like it or not, this is something that must be discussed as soon as possible. The governorship of Migori County is not the personal property of the Obado family. This is a public office, that demands the public to be served, irrespective of whatever personal problems the individual holding the office may be having. In fact, if the people of Migori County can sober up for a minute and carefully examine the writing on the wall, they will quickly realize that the governorship of Okoth Obado is no longer feasible. How can it possibly work going forward? How? How can it work even if the governor is found not guilty by the court of law? How will it work? You see, being governor is a very public office. It requires you to shake hands with the daughters of people, with the mothers of young daughters, with the brothers of sisters about the age of the late Sharon Otieno. How are you going to do all that with this case hanging over your head? How are you going to pull it off with this confession you yourself have made that you had an extramarital affair with a young girl and even got her pregnant? How is it going to work with the nude photos and nude videos which have been circulating widely in social media, some of which show the anatomy of the governor? Doesn't all this not reduce the office of the governor into a joke? Actually, I believe it does. And the only honorable thing for Okoth Obado to do, if he really loves the people of Migori, and if he's really a selfless public servant, is to resign the governorship and make every effort within his power, to smoothly transfer everything to his deputy. If and when he wins the murder trial, he can then start to repair his image. Although in the eyes of many, it is already irreparable. Anyway, the next few days and weeks should be very interesting, because one thing I can assure you, members of the press will pay very close attention to the developments in Migori County. Until next time, this is Kshs, Kumekucha.